Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Mom's View.
Is that my house?
Yay.
Is that my house?
Yeah, we're at Carly's Styles house today, and I love your house.
Thanks, guys. Do you get hot?
It smells so good.
It does?
You guys need smell-o-vision.
I'm obsessed with smells, and it's probably too hot for everyone's comfort in the room because I'm like a crazy person with if I'm too hot, it's like up 7. If I'm too cold, it's like down 20. Jackson's like, 1 increments, babe. Just go up 1 or down 1. I'm like, hot, cold.
You are definitely Shay's sister.
I'm extremist, you know. He's just like, I'm going to make a note. It's like, just go up 1 or down 1, okay?
Next to the heater.
So if you're hot, I'm sorry.
No, I think it's great because it is so cold here. Oh my goodness.
I'm over the winter.
I am too.
Ready for it to be.
I am too. There are times when I think like, oh, it'd be nice to live in LA because of the beach or this and that. But lately I've been like, I want to move back to LA. I can't do this. I can't do this. There's too much snow.
It's been like snowing and icing and windy and just.
But think of how pretty it will be in the spring.
I know, yeah.
Then we got
Everything's
the optimist
so
over
green.
here.
Good job, Colette. I don't remember if it was a vlog or something, but Shay, you were saying that. Like, or Shay was saying that, and you said that, and then Shay was like, okay, Disneyland princess. Shay, you rude.
Anyways, I'm so happy that we're back together. I love when we get to chat, and I love doing this show because I like watching morning shows. And I love connecting, and I love connecting with all of you. And one of the morning shows that I watch from time to time had this picture, and I want to show you guys really quickly. Okay. So I'm going to show them on my laptop, and it will pop up on your screen. I saw this a few months ago. I've been dying to show you guys because I want to see what.
That's inappropriate. Oh, wow.
I want to see what your first reaction. This was homework that a first grader brought home, a little girl, and when her mom saw this, she was like, what? And she reacted the same way I would react. Like, I want to see other women's or other moms' views on
I'm like trying not to
their
look.
reaction to this. Okay.
This is homework?
So this was homework for a first grader, and it says, everybody in this picture should be on a diet. Write what kind of diet each person should be on.
A mental diet.
Okay, this was homework for a first grader. So there's a picture of a skinny, really skinny underweight person, someone who might be a little overweight, and then someone who is at a healthy weight.
That's for real?
This is for real. So I was like, when I saw this, I just immediately was like, what is that? And I was so mad and I was so upset. And then I continued to listen to their conversation, so I'll add a little bit more to that. But I wanted to know, like, what are your initial reactions?
It makes me like, I get fired up.
Yeah.
I feel shaky right now. I'm like, how can you already put that kind of a child, this is how you're going to judge somebody.
Right.
Right here. This is how you do it.
Right.
And that's part of your homework.
I just don't like that they put boobs on. Some of these people who don't need boobs. Sorry, I had to bring the humor into it. I'm always the one to not be serious.
So would you be upset if Cooper brought this home for homework?
I mean, yeah. I think my initial reaction, something else came to mind when I saw this. I can't even remember where, so it's not like the relevance isn't that strong, but there was an ad, a campaign for a woman's ad, and it showed like 6 different women kind of similar to this, like with 6 different body types. One like looked longer and leaner, one looked more compact, one was like a little bit whiter. You know, just like showed you like 6 different body types, but they all weighed the exact same. And so I thought that was really interesting because Cooper and I have been really talking a lot about being healthy lately. He's put on some weight, and it's been hard for us because I know as a mom, like, I'm not feeding him super terrible, and I know Cooper is very active, but it's hard because I'll be reading it in comments like, oh, Cooper's getting fat, or he's feeling different. Like, I can tell his body's going through a period of change. He's like not a little boy anymore. And he came home from baseball one day and he's like, I'm just not running as fast. I think it's because I'm fat. And then like all of a sudden, you know, as a mom, it's like we can like tear ourselves down and be like, I'm chubby, I have rolls, like, but I don't think that we realize sometimes how much our kids are picking up. Because we would never want our kids or anybody we love to feel the way we feel about ourselves. But it's like, why do we treat ourselves that way if we don't want our kids and the people around us to feel that way? And so when I saw that picture, I made sure I showed Cooper. I was like, look at all these women weigh the exact same, but they all look different. And I said, I remember when I was 8, it's kind of funny story. At my wedding, we had like a dinner. My mom pulled out my baptism dress when I was 8 years old. And when she pulled it out, it was like, it looked bigger. Like it looked like it could fit me now. My mom was like, oh, you must have been a big 8-year-old. But I think I do remember going through that phase where like I kind of put on a little more weight because then all of a sudden like puberty hits and your body just changes and shoots up. But I mean, initially I think this can be dangerous if you don't have parents who can teach you that health varies and genetics vary, and you can be super tall and like look very skinny, or you could be more compact and look overweight, but you might be healthy on the inside, and that's what I've been trying to help Cooper focus on. And so I just think we live in a culture where it's like it's ingrained in us to look at something and to quickly just judge it like that.
I also think like in first grade to get this as homework, I think that is when a lot of kids start doing that. A lot of kids will put on a little bit of weight before they have a growth spurt. Braylee did the same thing. It's absolutely normal. And we don't want our kids to look at this and think, I'm not healthy, I need to lose weight. This says that this person needs to go on a diet to lose weight. We don't want to put that in our first graders' heads. And I know I've struggled with body image, and it started in grade school. I remember being in second grade and thinking, I'm not as skinny as my friends.
Right.
So this is just another thing, like we're telling someone to be healthy that they need to look a certain way. But like I said, there was actually a man on the morning show that I watch, and he was not usually on there. He's a comedian. And he was saying that he thought that this was necessary because they're finding that children who are overweight usually have parents who are overweight, and they're looking at their parents and thinking that that is healthy.
Oh, okay.
So the school feels like they have to do something about that.
Right.
This is not the right way to do something about that. I think the thing that they need to do is have PE, like PE back in elementary schools.
Physical education.
Yeah.
Health.
And we need to know and accept and understand that everyone has a different body type.
Right.
Just because someone might be bigger than someone else, they could be much healthier.
Right.
Exactly.
I've worked in and I tell you guys this all the time, but I have seen up close like the people who are the epitome of physically on the outside looking to society standards like the most healthy, but on the inside and the things they're putting in their body are like the most unhealthy things. And so it's like, I just think that our children and us and me even need to realize that it's like that cliche saying, but you don't read a book by its cover. It's the same thing with people. You don't look at somebody who may like to society or, on this picture look overweight and say that they need to lose weight or that they're not healthy, because really I've been teaching, like we've been using the word health, like what makes you feel healthy. Because when you eat something bad, like you can have a donut and feel fine. I had a donut, I went to CrossFit and had a donut, I felt fine. But those days where you sit on the couch and you binge, you just don't feel healthy. Right. There's such a difference with health and telling people to gain or to lose weight. I think it's a super dangerous territory. I think it's a super slippery slope. And also, not in defense, but school district just does not have the money. Like America, we just do not have the money to like pump into the system a proper education system for these kids to know what health and diet is. Like I've been a substitute teacher for PE, and I see their content and their like curriculum, what they have to go off of. I'm like, these people are not teaching the right things. Like they need to know what real health is and like get back to the basics, like the food pyramid, and I don't know, just more. I think like health on the inside would go a lot further for us. And
I think, if my child brought this home, I would be super upset and I would want to call the school. But I think as a parent, we need to see something like this, and it needs to open up that conversation with our children.
Right.
It needs to make us realize, we need to teach our children this. We need to teach them what health is, eating healthy, moving our bodies, but in a healthy way. We don't want to put the pressure like, you need to look like this.
Right.
We just need to make sure that they're being active and being healthy, no matter what they look like.
Yeah, that's why it's like, I think that's the hardest thing with a parent is I think really everything, the most important, valuable thing that we can do for the world and society as parents is what happens within the walls of our home. Yeah. Because it's like, you can't always, no offense, you want to trust people's intentions. You want to think people have good intentions. And maybe this health teacher had good intentions and they were trying to stop, obesity from being this thing or whatever. But what they don't know is their history, their family history, the genetics, like everything that plays into maybe this little girl who's overweight and her parents are overweight. They just don't know. Yeah. So I think as parents, you have to know what your kids are doing in school and know the homework that they're working on and know the friends that they're hanging out with, because that's when the most important lessons happen, I think, are within the home.
And if they want to do something like this, there's a better way to go about it rather than write an L next to the person who needs to lose weight.
Right.
There's a better way of doing it, and I don't think that we should put that into our children's heads, that they need to be on a diet, that they need to lose weight. It was mentioned, like, it's good that they have this really skinny girl that needs to put on weight. But that is also a struggle for people. There are people who are struggling to try to put on weight, and it's hard, and they get bullied for that as well. So,
or just classified as having an eating disorder when they're like genetically, they just are super, super like little, tiny.
Yeah. Well, in
Shay and Gavin's book, Fat Dad, Fat Kid, I love that that's what they talk about, is being healthy. And that means so much to me because I worried about that with Gavin. Like you said, like he was, you know, he weighed more than the other kids in his class, and I was always like, am I doing something wrong? What's going on? Yeah. But he honestly, you know, when him and Shay went on this journey, like they got into a place where they're both healthier than the girls, you know, like Gavin could run faster and he was feeling better and he was drinking so much water. So it really doesn't matter, like, the way you look in the mirror. As long as you're doing the things to make the inside of your body work, the outside's gonna, you know, match up or whatever, but it's just gonna make you feel good. That's the most important thing, is you gotta feel good.
There's just so many elements that play into health that it's just hard to really categorize it as one. I think it would be healthy to sit with your kid and watch them go through the exercise, and then the teaching comes in after. Well, why do you feel like this person needs to lose weight, gain weight, and then go from there? But I'm kind of shocked.
And I guess just teaching them to judge people makes me
exactly. And to teach them, if you get something like this, to sit down and talk about why you don't judge someone by their appearance, no matter what, their weight, you know, anything, like their face, their, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a topic that I've been thinking about lately that I can't really decide how I feel about it. Well, let me just tell you. Oh my god. So Emmy and Brock are both, they were old enough to go into kindergarten, and I decided to keep them back because they were younger for their age. And so they are both younger, or I guess they're the oldest in their grade because I put them in later. And
so now it makes them the oldest of their grade because you held them back.
Exactly. Okay. And I noticed the other day, like, Brock doesn't really know, he doesn't really care. Yeah. And we were shopping and I saw a friend and they were like, oh, are you in kindergarten this year? And he's like, no. And then he's like, oh, your mom held you back. And I was like, I looked at him like, what? And then Brock,
do this to them.
Brock kind of looked like this and he was like, what do you mean? You know, like kind of confused. And I thought about that and like what that means to kids. And the reason that we did it is because I didn't want them to be struggling for their age, because I was younger for my grade and I was not smart.
That's not true.
And maybe I was, but I just felt like I was always behind everybody, and I didn't want them to feel that way. So that's why I made that decision. But I just thought, I want to know what people think about that. If it is something that's negative for a child, or if it's something that can help them. Like,
I think it's hard in the summer where you have a choice. Like, Braylee is in September, so she is the oldest. I think I would have started her, but I'm so grateful. I can tell that there's such a positive.
Because she's older?
Yeah, because she's older. She understands things better. So I think it's so great. And my parents did the same thing with my little brother. He was in July, and he was the oldest in his grade, and they had to make that decision. And I think that it's very beneficial. Really? I really, really do.
I wish my parents would have held me back. I would have been a lot more better off. My life's falling apart.
We were all later.
Yeah, my birthday was like, I graduated when I was 17. So I could have, I was the same way, my birthday is June. So I could have either been held back or been, but I feel like, I mean, I think that's so personal.
I guess I hate that term, held back.
Yeah, because when I was little, I remember thinking like, oh, I got moved ahead, and so I was like, oh, they're so smart, they got moved up a grade, or you got held back because you're not smart. Like, I think as a kid you don't understand, so you just generalize. But as long as you teach Brock and Emmy, like, we just did it because of your age. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make you more smart or less smart. It's just because of how old you are, you know? But I think that I read something somewhere about kids that are older in their group of friends. It's kind of like they're treated as a wolf pack. Kids will naturally gravitate to the kids who's older because they have like a stronger personality and that they do better. So, I mean, if that means anything, basically your kids are wolves. You're going to lead the pack.
Yeah, I think it's beneficial. And I also heard that it's better for a boy to be older than to be younger. I don't know why, just because I think boys learn a little slower than girls. I don't know. I don't mean that offensive at all. I've just heard that before. So I have heard that it's much better for a boy to be the oldest rather than the youngest.
That girls mature faster than guys. Like, that's just a life rule. No, I'm just kidding. But like, really, like watching kids, like our like nieces and nephews, you can tell that girls just like, they just, for something, there's something about a girl, like a little girl, they just mature a little quicker.
And it might just be their personalities, because like Braylee and Avia are super like independent and headstrong, and Avia, like, we put her in when she turned 5, and she is younger for her grade, but she's also like a super go-getter. And Emmy, I feel like it was good for her, but I just wonder socially, like,
Emmy and Avia's personality is so different. Like, Avia, I think, rises to competition. Emmy doesn't like competition. She kind of is like, okay, you can do that. But like that challenges Avia. So I think that's a good thing for Avia. But Emmy, I think that would scare her. So she'd kind of be like, because she's more meek and like tender and quiet, and Avia is just like does not care. She will run the show. And she does well with competition, like it makes her do better. Yeah. So I think it depends on their personality, and then you're the mom, you know best.
Right. And I think, like you said,
don't doubt yourself.
That's such a bad thing to say, like, oh, you're held back.
Right.
And just to, like Carly said, just to make sure that they know, like, you're not held back. You were in the summer, and you have a choice in the summer, and we just chose this for you because
we loved you more than your brothers and sisters. We didn't want you to go to school. We wanted you more home.
I know that's the other thing. You like get to keep them for an extra year. I think that all the time about Braylee. If she would have been born in August, I probably would have started her. And I'm so grateful I didn't have that choice because I get to keep her a little bit longer. And you would be sending them to college at 17.
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
It's too early.
So, I think you made a good choice.
Yeah, I felt like I did, but when you hear stuff socially, you're like, oh, maybe I'm hurting them. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, so we're going to do a little Twitter Q&A. I tweeted something out that we're having the moms view. There's so many good questions. I can't decide what I want to ask you guys.
I just love that we're doing this like now at our homes with our laptops and our phones.
It's really relaxed. I
We're
love
keeping
it.
it real, okay? We the OGs here. That means original gangstas. Okay. So this one comes from @Chantel_Rod. She asks, you cannot shy away from this.
Oh.
Okay.
She says, talk about having babies. Oh. Will you have any more? Will Colette and any more, etc. Any more? She has 5. Give her a break. Come on.
Give me a break.
So babies, ladies, are they on your future plans?
Well, that was my main question to you.
Well, I have an announcement. No, I just can't wait because I'm in love.
You like to tease us.
Yeah, of course we want to have more babies. Jackson was like ready like before we got married, and not. I mean, that sounds like whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like that's such a hard personal question because I feel like it really is so personal. Like most people, I feel like have this like idea like you need to be financially ready and be through college and have jobs, and it's like I've had almost both. Like I don't have a baby now, but we're prepared in every way. We have a home, we have great jobs, we're done with college, we have no debt. Like we're in a good financial situation, but does that mean I'm going to love my babies or be more prepared for them? Because when I had Cooper, I was younger, I wasn't as prepared, and I feel like he's turned out great. And so I'm like, that's like was a hard thing for me. I was like, I want to make sure we're ready because I think I had read so many comments and let it get in my head. But we'll just say this: we are not preventing anything. So we will take it whenever the Lord blesses us with a healthy baby. Yeah. But yeah, I think we want to have like 3 or 4 more, and then maybe adopt. For sure adopt. We definitely want to adopt. Yeah.
Really? That's cool.
Jackson has traveled so much. His grandparents are like world travelers. He called us last night and was like, do you guys want to go to the North Pole? And I was like, no. It's freaking cold. But we talked about it and how Jackson has been to so many like countries and seen so much that he's like, we've had this like, almost like this both, like we came to this epitome, like we should adopt a baby one day. Like one day that's something we're going to do. So
I think that's awesome. That
So maybe once like all of our kids have kind of grown up and we're just like ready to take on more in life, we're going to adopt. But yeah, so there could be a baby wood inside me. I just don't know for sure. But no confirmation yet. So prayers and baby dust for us. Yes. I'm trying to talk to these guys into getting pregnant with me, but they will not.
Nope.
Well, this is why, because everyone was so mean about my baby after you had Daxton, and then everyone was like, Winston's not as cute as Daxton.
There's mean comments on the
It's
internet.
really hard to hear stuff like that about your brand new baby. I was like, you guys are so mean. Yeah. They're both cute in their own ways.
I would kick you. I would kick you. I'm only
Anyways,
glaring
that was
at the
really
ones that said that.
Yeah.
If there's any of you watching.
There's going to be some haters and everything, like, or people calling Cooper fat lately. I'm like, I will cut you.
It is really hard to hear bad comments about your kids.
Because your Mama Bear comes out. You're like,
but I wanted my last 2 to be like 2 years apart, and Winston will be 2 in April, and I just feel like he's a baby. And
Casey, come on, put out, would you?
I love you.
Oh, sorry, is that TMI?
Like, I don't know if I'm ready. I just like want to enjoy him a little bit longer.
But just
as a
remember,
little baby.
you're pregnant for 9 months. That's almost
a
year.
But then my other fear is that I'll be as sick as I was with Winston, and I don't know how people are that sick with a baby. Like I couldn't have done it.
Like she's talking about morning sickness.
Yeah, morning sickness, and it lasted the whole 9 months, and I just could not function normally. Yeah. So I don't know. I really want to have one sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, we could be pregnant. So you're saying there's a chance.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
What about you?
I don't know.
See, just get pregnant with us.
I always tell people, like, when I had Daxon, when it is in the hospital, I was like, I need to have another one. Like, I felt that pull then, but I don't feel ready now. Does that make sense? And I feel like a part of me was supposed to feel that pull, so I knew that there was another one in there because I'm really just not ready.
Right.
Like, I just feel like my life is a little bit up in air, and my house mostly is up in air. The kids are good, my husband's good, but the house and just trying to get everything organized and balanced. And Daxon's been really a struggle for me. Just
I watch him.
I've been
anytime.
globbing onto him like he's my youngest, and I'm just like so obsessed.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I could add another one in.
I know, that's how I feel too. I'm like, oh, I don't want to take any of my time away from Winston and focus on another baby. It's a really weird thing. And you forget how much work they are.
Remember we were at lunch the other day and Kaylee was like holding Winston and like Mod Podging something and on the phone and like
Just at dinner.
zipping up her coat.
And she edits with Winston climbing all over her.
And I'm still nursing. That's the other thing. I don't know if I'll get
gosh.
pregnant anytime soon because I am still nursing Winston.
I just looked at you and I was like, am I going to remember how to do all that? Because that looks really hard.
It all comes back, but you forget. Like, I feel like when I first had Winston, it was just like, oh, this is wonderful and it's a newborn. And then they turn into toddlers. And it's like,
you're like, oh.
This is
It's so funny because
hard.
when I have just like when Cooper's here, I'm like, he's not hard by any means. He's the best kid ever. But I feel like if I had more, it'd be easier. Like when I watch your kids and it's like I have year 5 and Cooper, it's not hard for me. I mean, it's challenging for sure, but for some reason it's like easier to maintain 6. But having one that's just always like, what are we doing? Where are we eating? Where are we going? It's like they have other kids to play off
it's
of.
true. I think it's easier to have
So a part of me is
multiple
like,
kids rather than
we
one.
need a baby because Cooper's also ready every day.
He's so cute.
Every day. Oh my gosh, when we got home from our honeymoon, he asked like right away, are you having a baby? I was like, oh my
No,
gosh.
when you went on your honeymoon, when you were getting in the car, it was so cute.
yeah.
Cooper was like, bring me home a brother and sister. I think he said sister. I don't remember, but he said one or the other. It was so cute.
Yeah. He's so cute with the babies too, so it's time. All right, you guys, that is it for today's video. This was so much fun, and I am so excited to be back and in Idaho. We are going to be bouncing around from Colette's house to my house to Carly's house, so it's going to be a lot of fun and just really relaxed and easygoing. So I can't wait.
This is like the main time the most I've seen you guys.
I know.
I get their undivided attention. Yes.
It's so fun, and we're so happy to connect with you always. Yes. So keep the conversation going in the comments below. Make sure you're following us on all of our social media. We've been really slacking in that area.
We need
but
you to
will do
motivate
better.
us.
So follow us on Twitter, Instagram. Snapchat? Do we have? I don't know.
We should do a Snapchat takeover of the moms.
We should.
Okay,
Okay,
that's a
let's
good
do it.
idea. All
All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.